Rahim, dear viewers, Assalamu alaikum. I am your host Faisal Raza and you are watching Foresight. Viewers, Pakistan and Oman have enriched historical, cultural, defense and military relationship. But despite of lots of opportunities and potential, the trade volume between the two countries is still low. It was earlier around $500 million, but during the last 3 years, it grown up to at least $700 million, but still it's low. When it comes to Oman, Oman is right at the mouth of Strait of Hormuz. It lies geographically close proximity to Pakistan across Arabian Sea. It is the home to 400,000 of Pakistanis living over there. And it is an emerging regional market, very lucrative for our exporters, for traders, the businessman community, and of course for the job seekers, but for the highly skilled and educated people. Inspired by historically rich and culturally diverse Pakistan-Oman relations, Pakistan Embassy in Oman has organized first ever Pakistan single country exhibition that was called Pakistan-Oman Expo 2024, and that was held in Muscat on 13th and 14th of October 2024. It was the first time ever in decades. Pakistan-Oman Expo 2024 attracted at least 60 Pakistani companies, 200 exhibitors, hundreds of products were displayed in that expo, while 2,000 Omani businessmen and citizens attracted toward that expo, and that exhibition has given a lot to Pakistan, not only the Pakistan-Oman relations, but also in the form of lots of agreements, orders, those were finalized and those worth millions of dollars. To get more on this exhibition, we have in our studios Pakistan Ambassador to Oman, IMRAN CHAUDHRY. He was the main proponent of this whole expo and the lively spirit behind this wonderful exhibition. No doubt, along with the Pakistani mission, the Pakistani community, and obviously the government of Oman, they have done wonder. They have done absolutely marvelous. So, most welcome to you, Mr. Ambassador. Thank you very much for your presence here in the studios.
Thank you.
And with him, Ms. QURRAT. She is the Vice President of Federation of Pakistan's Chambers of Commerce and Industries, FPCCI. FPCCI was also the main proponent of this whole expo which was held there in Oman, and FPCCI has to do a lot in future as well when it comes to the trade volume between two countries. Thank you very much, ma'am, for your presence here. And online will join us Dr. Muhammad Faheem Khan, expert in political economy, Assistant Professor, Department of Humanities and the Social Sciences, Bahria University, Islamabad. Most welcome to you, Faheem Khan. Thank you very much for your presence online. My first question, we started from the wonderful expo that was there in Oman just some days back. What inspired the idea of hosting Pakistan-Oman Expo 2024 in Muscat, and how did you actually conceive that plan?
Thank you very much, Faisal. It's a privilege to be here. Whenever I met people who had been there in Oman even for 30 years, 40 years, and our great Omani brothers, Pakistani community, they used to say, there's a lot to the defense relationship, political relationship, but yeah, wish we could do something for the economy. And I kept on hearing this refrain and then mantras like we don't have exportable surplus, our inputs are costly and all that. So there's a whole theoretical science behind failure and all. But then I realized that Omanis did not even know what products Pakistan had to sell. So I thought, at least let's have it. Let's have it. Let's have the Omani people and businessmen touch Pakistani cloth, taste Pakistani condiments, feel Pakistani IT. There were displays and all, and it certainly ballooned into a great success.
So, Mr. Ambassador, what were the primary objectives set for that particular expo, and they achieved, and what were the real challenges you or the embassy faced to attain such objectives?
The biggest challenge is the civil service. The civil service is a challenge because you have to plan expos in advance.
You're talking about the bureaucratic hurdles, the bottlenecks and all that?
1 year, you need, according to TDAP, very good officers in TDAP, but you need to give them a plan 1 year in advance. Things don't happen this way. If you've got to do things, you have to do them in 2 months, in 1 month. So one challenge was that. The other was that if it hasn't happened for the past 70 years, why would it happen now? It would fail in the end. So the fear of failure, and I think the objectives, they were met beyond my expectations.
Well said, well said. Ma'am Kurtulan, recently in July, a high-level Omani delegation visited Pakistan and engaged in both government-to-government and the business-to-business meetings. They are exploring investment opportunities in energy, in infrastructure and agriculture, especially the projects under the Green Pakistan initiative by the Special Investment Facilitation Council. So how do you see overall picture that how much Oman is interested in investments in Pakistan, how it would be beneficial for Pakistan's economy overall?
Thank you very much. Pakistan and Oman, as you already said in your intro, that in last 3 years we have seen an upward trajectory.
Yes, it's growing.
It's growing.
It's encouraging, really.
Yeah, so the figures are very good. So the trade volume has already been enhanced about $300 million. So which shows that if we are providing the right space to Omani investors, as you have mentioned that SIFC is doing their work, because you know when we are inviting some foreign investor, there is always a trust deficit in the developing countries. Like
Obviously.
in Pakistani context, if we look, there is a happening due to the political situation of the country, the instability in the country, and when there is a special council through one window operation is there to support those trust deficit, then definitely the things can enhance. And then as the ambassador has already mentioned that this single country exhibition which he has done so marvelously, and we were there to witness it, so such kind of activities need to be enhanced. The volume of such kind of activities has to be enhanced. There is so much potential for Pakistani people to go and invest in Oman, and there is so much potential for Omani people to come here to create the JVs.
Definitely, definitely. There are lots of ways to earn precious foreign exchange for the country, and that will actually grow. And you are absolutely right that these bottlenecks and the hurdles which are there, and SIFC is very proponent on that. Most of the times that was raised and that was tried to, and that formed actually to erase all those bottlenecks basically. Mr. Ambassador, how do you measure the success of Pak-Oman Expo? What economic benefits did the Expo bring to Pakistan and Oman, and how will these relationships will sustained?
So Faisal, the first one are the figures. So 23 million in contracts till now. It was 15 in the morning. I found out another 7. So 23 million, but more than that, it's the important contacts between Pakistani businesses and Omani businesses. So they stayed back after the Expo. Some of them are still there. They're meeting behind closed doors. And then there was a lot of intellectual interaction. We had Pakistan success stories, talk to the new investors, new exhibitors. They asked them all sorts of questions, 4 hours. And then the legal environment in Oman, there were all day long conferences on the sidelines of the Expo in the same place. So an Expo should not only exhibit product, it should be a matching of minds also.
So, Ma'am Kurtulan, only it's, as we were talking about that in last 3 years, we have seen the surge in Pakistan's exports and even Omani exports to Pakistan. So, it has the potential to grow even 4 times the existing potential to at least $3 billion. How public-private sector, especially the chambers and Pakistan mission can attain this very important but achievable objective? So how do you see that? Because the government has the entire focus on increasing Pakistan's exports to the world. How do you see that?
So actually, Faisal, we have to look upon the current challenges which we are facing when we are talking about the export. So we have to bring the energy cost into such a competitive price when we are going to produce some product for export market that should be in comparison with our neighboring countries, with India, with Bangladesh, with Sri Lanka, because we have a very high price of the energy and then we have very high markup rate. So the product which we already producing is already high cost. So whenever we are talking about enhancement of the export, we have to take care of these challenges. Then second important part is about the innovation which has to be brought, and that is we always found from the industry there is a gap between industry and academia, because the academia which are producing for the industry is not digitally or innovative according to the current needs of the exporting market, because every market has different trends. If I give you an example, Oman, the women's over there, they wear a different kind of abaya. So that's a big market to export those abayas over there from our side. But we have to innovate our garment industry, our aprons like that according to the trend of that market. So research and development is very much important, which has to be done. The innovation has to be done according to the market research, and these kind of activities can be done in hands to hand together with Federation of Pakistan Chamber of Commerce and the government of Pakistan. And again, which sir has already mentioned, that there are bureaucratic hurdles in Pakistan. But why we have to take 1 year of time in which the dynamics would be changed? Maybe in this time of the era, we need something, and after 6 months that need would not be there because somebody else has already taken up the market. So what we are going to get out of it? So we have to be quick and we have to be crisp if we really want it.
You are absolutely right, because initially we need a proper market research, and on that we have to build our industry and cost-effective production, diversified exports, and along with that there must have to be the triangle that have to be completed. One is the government, other is the industry and the academia. So that gives us a boost. You are absolutely right on that. Dr. Faheem, how China-Pakistan Economic Corridor and Gwadar can offer lucrative opportunities to Oman and rest of the Gulf states by expanding trade routes and economic collaboration and joint projects due to its close proximity across the Arabian Sea?
Thank you, Faisal, for inviting me to comment on these things. First of all, you talked about CPEC. It is a major component of China's BRI, Belt and Road Initiative, aimed at connecting China to global markets through Pakistan's infrastructure, energy, and logistic networks. The Gwadar port is located on the Arabian Sea, as you know, and is positioned to become a critical hub for regional connectivity, especially for trade between South Asia, Middle East, and Central Asia. Central Asia is now the eye candy, and Oman and other Gulf states can benefit from Gwadar in several ways. It can be the shorter maritime routes, as Oman's proximity to Gwadar reduces shipping time and cost compared to traditional routes via the Bay or Strait of Hormuz. This presents a lucrative opportunity for Oman to use Gwadar as a transit point for exporting goods to South and Central Asia. Secondly, there are new trade pathways like Central Asian markets. They can touch CPECs, rail, road, and pipeline networks, which are bypassing congested routes and gaining early movers advantage. Then if we can go through the joint projects in energy and logistics, they are also beneficial, and there is a gap already as both nations can invest in cold chains, refineries, and the oil storage facilities near Gwadar to facilitate the transit of petroleum and LNG. And lastly, collaboration in fisheries and maritime economy will be a big boost up as it can sustain marine ecosystem. And by partnering on infrastructure and trade initiatives, I guess Oman can diversify its economy, strengthen its foothold in South Asia, and gain access to Chinese market. And CPEC offers opportunities to Oman financials and logistic firms to invest in Gwadar and other parts of Pakistan, befitting from Pakistan's strategic location at crossroads of regional trade corridors, I guess.
You are absolutely right, Dr. Faheem, because trade and economy, this is always a two-way business. So, no doubt that if Oman invests in Pakistan, gains a lot really. Pakistan is traditionally, Dr. Sahab, relying upon manpower export to earn remittances. With both Islamabad and Muscat have agreed recently on the early finalization of the Memorandum of Understanding MOU on labor and manpower exchange, how much it's necessary to export highly skilled, well-versed, well-trained, multitasking, academically sound human resource to Oman, because now the time is changed. Now the technology is, innovations are at par. Now the artificial intelligence, the fintech, the cloud computing and all others are in phase. So when we are talking about sending our manpower to the Gulf countries, now the Gulf countries are entirely changed. We have to cater those changes and we have to send our highly skilled and highly academic manpower to these countries.
Actually, MOU on labor and manpower exchange represents a strategic shift in bilateral relations, reflecting a shared understanding that skilled labor export is critical to meet both countries' economic objectives. And traditionally, if we can say, Pakistan has exported semi-skilled and unskilled workers to the Gulf region, particularly in construction and service sectors. And Oman's economic diversification under their vision 2040 requires a more skilled workforce, which is creating a need for highly skilled and multitasking professionals, as Oman is focusing on non-oil sectors such as logistics, as Ambassador Saab said, such as logistics, IT, healthcare, and a more well area, which is tourism, as Pakistan has the potential for the tourism as well. Pakistan can benefit by aligning its human resource policies with Oman's requirement, sending engineers, IT experts, nurses, and teachers, and the other technical professionals.
Doctors, engineers, aviation experts, no doubt it's very important. When, Madam, we are talking about Pakistan's economy have a great potential altogether to value add its products. You were talking about diversify our exports, enhance its overall trade volume to the GCC countries, particularly with Oman. Existing bilateral trade is below par and stands at exactly, when we are talking about it's $694.06 million right now, but seen considerable growth in the last 3 years, lots of efforts already employed in that, and we need to have more. So when we are talking about overall export growth, that is important that our products must have to be value added. Our exports must be diversified, and trade must be very unique in a sense that you should give something new to the world rather than just sending the raw materials to different countries. That is not now the case. And as the doctor was saying, it is important the skilled labor, because you are in touch with that area as well. So how do you see that, how much we can gain out of the Omani market for Pakistan?
So Faisal, Oman market is very favorable. With this single country exhibition, we have seen the results. So the demand is very much placed over there. Then if we're talking about the economic power of Oman, we are very well aware the currency is very strong, the economy is very strong. So when we are talking about the enhancement of the trade volume, it's very important that we have to value added our products. If we are talking about the food processing products, we have to value added. If we are talking about the textile product, there is a huge demand, we have to value added, which you already rightly mentioned, because we have to see that what is the demand over the period of time over there in the Omani culture. And then very second important point which you have discussed earlier, when we are talking about export now in Pakistan, I am not concerned about just only the export of the goods, because we are a country of 250 million population, and 70% is our youth bulge. So this youth bulge has to be skilled up, they have to be trained, and they have to be exported into our relevant neighboring countries according to the need. And hospitality, tourism, healthcare services.
Because just like a raw material, we are sending the raw labor to different countries. They are not skilled, and because that labor is gone actually because of the technology enhancement in those countries.
Yes, and what we are sending right now, HR are unskilled people, we are sending semi-skilled people, we are not sending our youngsters which are actually the true ambassadors of Pakistan, which are going to build the reputation for Pakistan, who should be on the managerial position, on supervisory position.
Because you have the competition there in the Gulf countries, and even in all regions, because India, Bangladesh and Philippines and lots of other countries, they are actually getting that chunk which Pakistan can earn. But unfortunately, because of the non-skilled labor, we don't have that luxury available. So, Mr. Ambassador, how would you summarize the template of that Expo, which was wonderful really, in terms of a creative idea that was not only fully implemented but executed and attained maximum objectives successfully, and still it is getting those objectives? How do you see that?
There should be cooperation between FPCCI, the embassy and the Pakistani community in Oman. Today, a group of the successful leaders of the Expo met the Deputy Prime Minister. They came, they were invited. It's very encouraging. So we need to get the simple things right. We need great coordination, and even if we place the basic products abroad, they have a lot of attraction in Oman. So I think we need to go for simpler things first, and not spend a lot of time planning.
What would be those simpler things?
Simpler things would be to bring Pakistani exhibitors to Oman. Let them do their job. Just bring them there, just tell them this is the place, let the Omanis talk to them.
And this bureaucratic paperwork and all other things, they are exhausting actually for a buessman community.
They are actually killing Pakistan.
So we have to avoid this, and we have to remove all those bottlenecks, and we have to move freely towards the free markets really. You are absolutely right on that account. So when we are talking about Ma'am Qurratullain, how it is important to ease the visa regime, bilaterally, improve the air and sea connectivity, as Dr. was rightly talking about, especially the ferry service, which was once planned but then shelved or might be postponed due to various reasons, as it is imperative not only to enhance the trade but the people-to-people contacts between Oman and Pakistan, and exploit the bilateral tourism potential between both the countries, not only Pakistan but also Oman. So why not to have those facilities available when we have a very close proximity between both the countries?
So it's very important to streamline the visa regime. First problem which we have seen and we have observed is that we don't have any visa policy with Oman. If we are at FPCCI, we don't have a problem. We will be writing to the Chamber of Oman. We can get our visas done. But unfortunately,
for the common people, yes.
If they wanted to go over there, they wanted to see the market, they wanted to explore the opportunities, they don't have the right way for that.
And even if they want to have vacations in Oman. Why
Yeah,
not?
yeah,
And
why
if
not?
any Omani wants to visit Pakistan, Pakistan is a very beautiful and diverse country. So if they want to come to Pakistan, so that is very important. You want to add something on that?
And then about ferry, so whenever we are going to develop some country relationship for trade and investment, it's very important to have the cultural interaction. It's very important to have the tourism exchanges. It's very important that you should open your air corridors, and if there are sea corridors, we have to open those areas. So ferry would be a wonderful idea, because it's not only increasing the tourism revenue, but people will be coming and going there, watching the culture, and would see the probabilities what they can do. And in GCC region, if we look upon the facts and figures that how much Pakistanis have invested in UAE in real estate, that's like $12 billion approximately in last 3 years. So why not Oman? So Oman has lot to offer, and if they can take 30% of the share of what UAE is getting out of it.
And why not? Why not to have even 20% share to Pakistan as well?
Yeah.
So, Mr. Ambassador, you were always very vocal on to have direct relations, to have free relations. You have don't have to be these hurdles in between. So, what lessons actually we learned from hosting this particular expo? How will it be ensured that exhibition would be made a permanent feature in future, and the results achieved in that expo would be consolidated to get direct economic fruits for the country?
I was listening to your discussion, and I just want to tell you that
definitely it's also your because very primary subject when it comes to
Pakistan has
visa.
already taken such a big step. We now offer Oman and GCC countries visa-free entry into Pakistan.
Okay.
We've already opened somehow all the great reforms.
But do we have the free entry into Oman?
No.
No.
But you've taken the right, you've done the right thing. You've taken the first step diplomatically.
That's good.
They'll be forced to follow suit. The other thing is that the embassy has now, since I came, assumed charge for getting all business visas issued. So you don't have to go anywhere. You have to send an email to the embassy, and the businessman will find himself or herself in Oman in 10 days. Second thing. Again, I would go to the simpler things. Dr. FAHEEM was talking about a labor MOU. You know, it's been in the works for 3 years now. 3 years. The ferry service MOU, which comes and goes, now it's with Oman. We take 1 year to send one draft and get a draft back. So we need to get out of this paperwork nonsense. We need to be on the telephones. We need to visit Pakistan. The Pakistani ambassador must visit Gwadar frequently. You cannot know what is happening at a place until you visit. And the Oman ambassador to Pakistan and the Oman Consul General in Karachi, they are very active. They have thrice visited me in the past 4 months. And Under Secretary Ibtisam and the Chamber of Commerce members, Ahmed Subhani, others. You know, I want to tell you one great fact. The second largest earth-filled dam in Oman has been built by a Pakistani firm.
That's great.
It's the second largest earth-filled dam, and the gentleman was here. The largest marble exporter out of Oman is a Pakistani.
That's great.
He was also here. So the DPM called them today. So we
have lots of success stories as well.
I put the 10 success stories and the madam's colleagues, and I must thank FPCCI. This time they did not go into any paperwork. They said an exhibition is happening. They came, and I was telling her they conducted themselves with such decency, such aplomb, such calmness.
At least the first step taken by the FPCCI, and I think so that the government institutions and the state institutions would also take that, and you were the part of that. You are the part of state, you are the part of the government as well. You are representing Pakistan. You have done a wonderful job over there in Oman, no doubt, in the Pakistani community, the mission and the government of Oman, no doubt about that. Dr. FAHEEM, Pakistan is an energy deficient country, and high energy costs are actually hampering industries inside the country. How much it is vital to have the LNG and the petroleum products import from Oman at discount rates via G2G arrangements, and that could help the industries with considerably cheaper energy with competitive products to export not only to the Omani market but also to the rest of the world?
First of all, I have a quick comment on Honorable Ambassador Saab's comment. Actually, he was right. I am endorsing his thing that the exchange of skilled labor will also help Pakistan to reduce the brain drain which is going on these days, and ensuring its professionals that are remain connected to the regional opportunities other than the Europe or some other countries as well. So coming to the question on the energy costs and industrial competitiveness, energy intensive industries such as textile, cement, and chemicals suffer from a high production cost due to expensive energy inputs, and discounted LNG and petroleum imports from Oman will enable these sectors to produce more competitively priced exports for international markets. Secondly, Pakistan's heavy dependence on that imported energy makes it vulnerable to global oil price volatility. So, securing a long-term energy supply agreement with Oman will mitigate risks associated with fluctuating global markets and improve Pakistan energy security. And lastly, if we can see the collaboration on refining and storage infrastructure, Oman and Pakistan could explore joint ventures in building oil refineries and LNG storage facilities near Gwadar. Such infrastructures would create economic value, reducing transportation costs and ensure timely availability of the energy sources. By importing energy from Oman at preferential rates, Pakistan, I guess, will not only address its domestic energy challenges, but also create a conducive environment for industrial growth, export competitiveness, and regional trade expansion.
Absolutely right. Thank you very much for your valuable time online. Thank you very much for your candid views as well. As Dr. Faheem was also saying about the competitiveness of the industry, particularly when we're talking about. So, Ms. Qurratullain, unfortunately in Gulf market, including in Oman, we are getting these reports from different outlets that the local buyers can't differentiate actually the quality, high quality and the low quality products. And when Pakistan exports some sort of a quality products, some of the hypocrites and some of the other people, they are getting benefit out of that. They are importing some low quality products and mixing it with the quality products. And India and the Indians are doing in Oman on regular basis. And then they are repackaging into the made in India and or imported from India, and then they are using it in Omani market. That is actually damaging the Pakistani exports and the Pakistani items over there. So how do you see how to get rid of such kind of things? And number two is the container clearance from the Pakistani ports to Oman and rest of the countries, because that is again a problem and FPCCI is facing that.
Yeah, so it is very important, Chief, because when this kind of hurdles are coming up, then with the help of the government and the custom border agencies, it has to be ensured well.
Definitely.
Second important thing is that we have to brought the international licensing and certification to Pakistan. This is a basic problem, because here we need a support from the government, because many licensing agencies are not coming to Pakistan, and then we have to make our system little bit faster on the bureaucratic side, and we need the support from the government of Pakistan regarding this, because Pakistani business people, they wanted to bring the international certification, because they know that after bringing those certification and quality assurance, the product will becoming more valuable. And then with India, we face a lot of problem because like our pink salt,
Yes.
they claim that it's our,
Yes.
and with the
Rice
basmati
as
rice,
well, yes.
yeah, so they traded it like basmati is our rice.
Yes.
But they have just trademark it. So this is lack of advocacy.
Although we have got the patents from the WTO as well, but unfortunately still Indian practices are there, particularly in the Gulf countries. Mr. Ambassador, one last question, that is, why not to turn Pakistan missions across the world into diplomatic commerce corridors as economic hubs, to always work for easing visa accesses, the creating awareness among the exporters and traders about that market, enhancing the trade, exploring the investment opportunities and strengthening Pakistan's economy?
If you want to create commerce hubs and missions, you will first have to create humanitarian missions.
That's good.
If the
That's
doors
good.
of your missions are closed always to the Pakistani community and you play choose and other things, you cannot do anything. This expo was a success because of the love that the Pakistani community showed for us. So first turn them into humanitarian missions. There's a whole science, I could do a whole program on you on how to create a humanitarian embassy. Once you do that, once the people respect your embassy, then you can turn them into commerce hubs, and they will themselves, there's so many success stories of Pakistan, they will set and they will guide. So do first get a humanitarian mission, then turn it into a commerce hub. Excellent idea, but till the mission is inaccessible to the general public and Pakistani businesses in that country,
Obviously,
good night dance.
you are absolutely right. Actually, this is what is needed, and you have done it in Oman, and the Pakistani community have done it in Oman, and we can do it in across the
Yes.
globe, no doubt
Yes.
about that. But that needs a real-time sincerity to the homeland, and what ma'am was talking about, nationalism, the Pakistani nationalism. That is very important, and we have to work for this country because this country given us a lot, and we have to now return it. So thank you very much, Mr. Ambassador,
Thank
for
you
your
for
presence
having.
here in the studios. We are very fortunate to have you here, and thank you very much, ma'am, because you have spared time out of your very busy schedules, and thank you very much for that. Viewers, as you have just listened to the Pakistan ambassador to Oman, the businesswoman, this is very encouraging that Pakistan is gearing up, and Pakistani women are very encouraging in business, and also Dr. FAHEEM. So all of three panelists, they are very much eager on that. Fortunately, this Pakistan-Oman Expo 2024 led us towards a place where we have already got $23 million of the orders and agreements from Oman, and our products competitivity, that is very important. When it comes to the cost of production, the energy cost must have to be eased, and so that we are making our products competitive in export markets. And innovation and research and development, that is very important. We have to remove all those unnecessary paperwork and the hurdles and bottlenecks which are there, and SAEFC no doubt working on that, but we have to expedite that work. Gawada can play a pivotal role in development, not only the Balochistan but also the Pakistan's development, and give a lot to the Gulf countries, particularly Oman. The visa regime must have to be eased and flexible.